recycling? You recycle?
I do.
All right. You recycle? Sal? Lakeland?
You want to get over?
Yeah.
I'm scouting out a good seating position. I think
Well, I'm going to push this to the wall so you can get
Mike's chair is narrower than I am. Might make it a little comfortable in that chair.
there's one handheld and the dining room is like
So if we put, well, that's what I'm saying. You two do pickup truck, the pickup truck. This one. But if you pull, I was thinking Mike gonna take up the back, both both of them. I'll turn it back to the pickup truck. That'd probably be the best thing to do. Because I'm not expecting to get far from my city.
I mean, because you're going to feel more comfortable driving.
So is it on up there? YouTube? Yes, I turned it on. See a little, got my alert.
So,
It comes on because we're broadcasting. Yeah, you can fit 15 with the driver. So you got one driver, that's one hand for the driver. Good, how are you doing? Good, Wayne. No use anyway, right? No, Take one down, pass it around, we'll get started here. How many residents besides Mike and Roy do you have?
there's 13 total residents. Take away my
Maybe 11. So we have 11. Clear can go up to the
So then she and I could just ride in her car, right? I think it's looking good.
That's great. That's why you got the agenda. Talk about the dining room and recycling here in case anybody is interested.
I'm trying to catch up here. We were running neck and neck, and he lost me.
I'm proud of him.
Hello, welcome. You got some recycling information, the agenda, and stuff about the dining room renovation. Did we go over anything stuff about that here? I don't know what you got here. Our work order numbers, the carpet job that we did in there that we're still gonna be having replaced, the fence, the terrace garden, and the pool bathroom. Fixed up. We're up. Good. Was this your pin, I think? Probably your pin. Hey there, Miss Jane. You want any information? We got some recycling. How y'all doing today?
The barbecue chicken is good. And the corn chicken.
Check now.
The blue light's on, right?
Check. Can you hear me? No. Check.
We're working.
Check.
We're gonna get going.
You should be, yeah. we're good.
Hello. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to August, right? It's cooking out there. Should we just leave this open? It's probably less disruptive that way. Miss Etta's going to get us going with. Put this on. Hello? Can you hear me? Miss Etta's going to get us going with prayer.
Let's pause for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we quiet ourselves and center our thoughts around you this afternoon, we thank you that your presence is here with us. We don't have to invite you in because you're the God who is everywhere at all time and in all places. And so we ask that you would invite us into your presence, that you would be with us in our conversations today. You would be with us in our planning as well as our execution of the things that we do in order to fulfill the mission and vision that you set out for us as an organization. Use our hands and equip our heads to do the task in the way that you would do, showing love for one another as we give love to you. Thank you for just placing your arms of protection around our campus as we pray your continued healing through the times ahead. We bless you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. If you're able, we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Please be seated. Oh, Susan, are you going to do the sales update? You want to? All right. Just checking. All right, we're going to start off with Miss Etta. Is going to continue on with our spiritual update.
All right, well, welcome. It's so good to see everyone today. We're having fantastic weather.
There you go.
I just want you to know I prayed for that. So, just a report, I did have a wonderful trip to Ghana. Pam, Herbert, and I went over for 11 days, and we had a wonderful trip, had an opportunity to do several mission projects while we were there with both university students as well as primary school students. And so we'll look for an opportunity in September where we can present those pictures, where Pam can come out and we can present those like we did when we went to Kenya, so you can see work on the ground and all what was done there in Ghana. So thank you so much for your prayers, because I know you were praying for us in our going and in our coming and in the work that we put our hands to. Also the back to school initiative for here. In the Hunter Herald, Chris is going to list the amount of things we were able to take to our schools from there. I've taken Jesse Keynes and Oscar Pope is on the list for this week for me to take their delivery. But thank you so much, those of you who partnered to make that happen. We had a great supply of school supplies. Our kindergarten class, the principal came out and helped me unload. She was so excited. She said that their kindergarten class at Jesse King, they have 5 classes, and 4 of those teachers were brand new teachers, but the minimum size of the classroom was 30 kids. So just imagine 30 kindergartners spread through 5 different classes with brand new teachers. And if you ever drive through the area there at Jesse King, you know that the neighborhood is a neighborhood that could use a little help. So we were able to have enough supplies for most of the kindergarten students actually to have all of their supplies, which was fantastic. You all showed out in great numbers in that support. And so we're so grateful for that. So you will get that report in a printed report in Hunter Herald, but I want to say from the chaplain's office, I want to say thank you so much for your support for those kinds of projects that we do in the community. The resident council officers and all took pictures with the supplies, a few of the supplies, and those will be in the Hunter Herald as well. We had a great chat and chew. I don't eat ice cream, but you all talked me into it, and apparently butter pecan's pretty good. So for September, we will do September the 2nd will be our next chat and chew, and it'll be in the same location. And so I'll have to decide what kind of cake and ice cream for that as a treat as well. But thank you for coming out. It gives us an opportunity for our health center residents, our assisted living residents, and our IL residents to kind of be in a common place with some conversation to catch up with one another. Because remember, we are community. We're not divided by streets. We're not divided by sections. We're not divided by neighborhoods. We're one community. And so that gives us an opportunity to come together with not a real agenda, but just the fact to catch up with a neighbor, spend some time with a friend, and have something sweet in the meantime to eat. So thank you for that. On this month, actually next week, we have the Beads in Queue. And so I know the name has thrown a couple people off, but what it is an opportunity for us to do something with the broken beads that we all end up with from necklaces and earrings and other parts of jewelry. We're going to do a nice canvas background with the beads, and we'll glue them. We have templates to make designs. We're trying to use the Western theme, but if you want to be a freelance artist, you're welcome to do that. All you need to bring is yourself and your appetite. Don't bring anything else, because we have everything else provided for you. After we do the Beads and Queue, we're going to have a meal that's catered by Mission Barbecue. And so you will need to sign up with that with me. I had asked that we would split the count, 15 from IL and 15 from, so we get everybody in. But at this point, I've kind of got a good mix going. So if you feel like you want to come, just call and let me know so I can make sure you're on for the count. That's not going to be so important for the beads, but it will be important for the barbecue, because we're having beef brisket and St. Louis ribs. So I do need a count for that so I can give it to Mission Barbecue for that. But your hostesses, that's the best part, are going to be Allison and Sabrina, and I'm going to be helping them out. So I know it's going to be a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, just some time for us to use some creativity, and again, to have some socialization and to come together as a community. And then you'll see on My W Life, save the date for September the 18th. I know that the residents will talk about it in resident council, but just in case it doesn't come up in this meeting, September 18th is Cupcakes and Cheers to 70 years. And so it will be in the main dining room on September the 18th, which is a Thursday, from 2:30 to 3:30. No sign up needed. Just come and bring some of your trivia about 1955 and things that have happened since then. But it's just to celebrate, just a reminder of a celebration for the 70 years that we're celebrating here. Amazingly, we have some residents who also have birthdays during that time. So it's kind of a secret birthday party for them too, because some of them have already said they're celebrating. But come and celebrate the 70 years, and come and sit around the tables and hear some fun facts that happened in 1955 that you might not remember, or you may remember. I don't remember. I wasn't quite here yet, but Brad, I'm sure you can fill me in on the years that I missed. But any questions for me? Any questions, comments for me? All right, thank you so much. You're always such a great audience, and I appreciate that.
All right, next on the agenda, we have Miss Wendy and Allison will come up and be doing resident life and wellness. Whoever wants to go first.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see all of you. I want to recognize our Wii bowling players. So if you are a member of our Wii bowling teams, could you stand up so that we can all recognize you? Stand up. So tomorrow is a big event. Our Wii bowling players are going to be making the journey over to Westminster Towers for a celebratory lunch because they did amazing. They ended up finishing first, second, and third. So it was a sweep, definitely. Westminster Lakeland South 2, they ended up taking first place with an average of 1,600. Second place was WLK, or Westminster Lakeland North team. And then our third place team was Westminster Lakeland South 1, and their average was 1491. I also want to recognize the top 3 Wii bowlers from our community. First place was Paulie Carland. Our second place, and he's here with us, is Emilio. So Emilio. And then our third place was Mike Breesley. So tomorrow's going to be a great time. We're going to wear red, white, and blue, and we're going to go over and have a nice lunch and celebrate all the Wii bowling teams. Today, we have Core on the Floor down at the MacArthur Center. I know some of you have asked, so just a gentle reminder, that's this afternoon. Etta has mentioned our Beads and Q. Please sign up with her. And then Total Brain Health, I wanted to round out for this month. There's still room if you'd like to sign up for that class. That starts Friday, August the 22nd. It's going to be in Lakeview Lounge 3 from 1:30 to 2:45. It's going to be a 6-week class. So if you're interested in that class, please get with me and I will put you on the list. Just some things coming up for the month of September. September is Fall Prevention Month. So we have a fun Falls Prevention Bingo that'll take place September the 9th in the game room from 3:30 to 4:30. Then we also are I'm teaming up with our therapy department. This is going to be a great time for you to get to know our therapy team. So it's going to be our meet and greet with them, and then they're going to be doing some fall risk assessments on our residents. I definitely want y'all to get involved and meet them, meet the new team members for the therapy. I don't have a date yet. I'm working on that, but that will be down in the game room. So we have decided that we'll do that in the game room. And to round out my announcements, line dancing with Ethel. Yay! I'm so glad that she's going to be starting up her classes again, and she will start September the 3rd at 4 o'clock back in the MacArthur Center. So it's going to be great having her teaching again. All right, thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I love all the things that everybody has planned. If you have not signed up for anything or you need more information, I know that Etta, Allison, myself, we're all happy to help you. If you came in, I did have some of these. This is your September roundup for some of the things that we're doing in the resident services end of the spectrum. If you have any questions about any of these, I don't want to go down them and bore you to death. But this is a little something new. I have put everything that I can think of on here, and if there is a pencil, then that means there's a sign up for it, and if there's a dollar symbol, that means there's a cost of some kind. It might be a charge for a ticket, or it might be on your own, but just to give you a little bit more information about those things. All of these should be available for sign up on MyWLife. If that's not something you're comfortable with, the desk phone number for me is right down at the bottom. So if you want, you can give me a call, and I'm more than willing to help you get signed up for anything you'd like. A couple of things as special reminders. On September 9th, we have a Western Day, and that is open to everyone. So that whole week is Assisted Living Week, and they have some fun themes every day. We are just joining in the celebration. So it is independent living and assisted living. I have hired a gentleman to bring a little petting zoo in for us. And we are going to have some brats outside. Now, depends. I would love it if you would sign up if you plan on coming, just so that we can get a food count and make sure that we have everything we need for that day. It's just going to be a regular meal fob, nothing special. We're just going to encourage you to take that meal outside and maybe pet some bunnies or a goat, I don't exactly know, and wash your hands properly, of course. But other than that, if you have questions or concerns about any of the things, please let me know. I am working on scheduling through October, November, and December, if you can believe it. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for things that you'd like to see either on campus or trips off campus, I love suggestions. So please always let me know what you'd like and we'll see what we can do. Any questions about September or anything coming up for the last part of August? Okay. Well, thank you for continuing to put up with me, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. I don't see Alyssa here, so we're going to jump ahead, and Katie just had to run out for a moment, so we're going to go off script a little bit and bring Brad up. We all know how much Brad loves public speaking. So if you have some questions, please feel free to ask him.
Thank you.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah, I heard there was an opportunity to speak, so I ran up here as fast as I was like, I'm not going to miss that. Not on my watch. So just wanted to make an announcement. On the 24th is brunch. There's going to be a change to that, so we are going to keep the 2 seatings. However, the times will be 11:15 and 12:15, okay? Not the 11:30 and 12:20. We're trying to stagger out so we have space to fit everyone in and accommodate everyone the best that we can. And we feel that moving it up would help. So if you're here at 11:15, we will be able to seat you. We ask that you please make a reservation so we can accommodate you. We had some instances where people didn't make a reservation. Now, we're not going to turn you away. It does help if we know that you are coming. So I don't know if we're going to talk about the one meal thing, or that's going to be in September,
So in
if you want me to bring it up.
Right, we're gonna on the brunch, we're gonna continue. You know, we meet every month with the dining committee, right? That's part of the resident council, right? And we take the input from all the stuff, and we're trying to make this brunch something that's enjoyable, and everybody can participate in and get adequate service and get in and get out, right, in a timely fashion. So. One of the ideas was to, if we start a little bit earlier, we can get the orders in, for the first group a little bit earlier, and then that first group can have their meal, and then the second group can come in. We've also we talked about that. Well, what if there was just one seating, right? Everybody can just come when they want to come, and we can have enough servers there to accommodate. The 100 or so people that come typically, to the brunch. And so we said, well, we want to make sure that we've already had the 2 seating item posted, right, this month. It's been in each of the TGIs, so we don't want to change it for this month. But for next month in September, we'll have 1 seating, right? And then in addition to that, like we've done for other special functions, that will be the only meal served in the main dining room or the Lakeview dining room that day. So if you're in the ALF or the health center for breakfast and or dinner, you'll be served those meals in the ALF or the health center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then we'll put that out. Also, we're going to put it in the scoop, and we'll put it in the TGI each week, leading up to the end of September. I'm not sure what the last Sunday in September is, but I'm sure it's 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. In there. Yes, ma'am.
When you say 1 seating, does that mean everybody has to be here at 11:15, or it can be staggered?
You can come at your leisure between 11:15 and 1:30.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're what's happened, what Brad said is, at 11:30, we're having sort of a rush of residents that come for the meal. Then we also have people that didn't call, right? I think last brunch we had 75 people in the first seating, and then we had 15 or 16 people that came to the second seating. So So to eliminate that, we'll give it a shot, moving away from the two seatings.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
We're
sense?
trying to make it a better experience for you. So if we were getting, so the 11:30 would show up, and then we wouldn't get tickets come until probably 11:45, 11:50. Well, then those people are still eating or waiting, and then the 12:20 people would show up, and then it's just, there's a lot of people arriving at the same time, so we want to accommodate you the best that we can. So we felt moving it up. If you're here, I mean, we can seat you and just start taking care of you, you know? Second thing is we have a new menu that's supposed to be rolling out soon, and I had a request for next week's menu, stuffed peppers. Those are going to be on there, okay? And then also to let you know, since we last met, I have hired a new cook and now 4 servers. 2 of them are in the works, so we're trying to get some more help down there for you. Just get as many people on as we can, at least part-time, to help make the experience a lot better for you, okay? And then we're also going to be, it was brought up, taking the ice pitchers off of the tables and putting them back onto the serving stations in the dividers, okay? So they can actually put the ice in your cups at that station and then bring them over to you instead of having the pitchers on the table. So we're going to try to do that because we're modernizing the dining room. As you all know, the project is coming, so we're trying to step it up with our appearance a little bit better, and we feel taking the pitchers off the table would kind of fit with the theme of the dining room. If we're going to upscale the room, let's upscale the experience, okay? Does anybody have anything for me that they would like to ask me? I'm trying to public speak as long as possible. Yes, sir. No, the 11:30 will be 11:15, and the 12:20 will become 12:15. Okay, so the 11:30 is eliminated, so there will be 11:15 and 12:15. So I'm going to also put that on the menu board downstairs, the digital board that's by the hostess stand, as a reminder, so you can see that. And Doug is also putting it in bulletins as well as reminders.
That's just for August.
Yes, sir.
Just for this month.
Just for this month. Yes, sir.
I'm not a frequent flyer in the dining room, but coordinating menu
Mm-hmm.
that you actually get with what on the food.
On My W Life? Yeah, that was talked about at the meeting that we had on Tuesday. I went in and corrected everything to what it was supposed to have been on Wednesday, I believe. I got my credentials for My W Life so I can get in there and actually correct it. So that was fixed. I'm going to try to keep up with that. I was having a little trouble getting into the site for some time. I don't know why, but that has since been fixed for me, so now I can get in there and actually correct it. Okay, you're very welcome. Anybody else have anything for me? No? Ella, your cinnamon rolls will be here tomorrow. Okay? Thank you very much.
Ooh, oh, I knew you were going to get it. I was waiting for you to back up into it. Thank you, God. All right, next on the, let's just, I hope I'm going to break this. I'm going to have to get get the porters involved. I get the wood shop's got to fix this thing for me. All right, I won't touch it anymore. Alyssa and Dawn should be here, but apparently they're running late. I'll just go ahead and give you an update about the health center. I can tell you this month we hit, actually I guess it was late last month, the health center was full, 68 residents in the health center. First time since I've been here that the community, the health center's been 100% full. So we celebrated that with the team over there. Takes a lot of work, getting the referrals in, getting the process, getting authorization, ultimately so we get paid, right? And it's a great accomplishment. Today, as we sit, they have 61 residents there or patients in the health center, which is still a very strong census. So that's good. They are 18 months into the annual survey window. In case you all don't know, the state, the Department of Health, Agency for Healthcare Administration, ACA, right, is who we get surveyed by annually. right? So we are 6 months, past due for survey. So they can come in, anytime. As we speak, 2 of our sister communities are actively being surveyed by ACA. So it's something that we go through every year. And it's a very stressful time for the teams because you have the inspectors come in and poke and pry and ask a bunch of questions. So if you're ever a nurse or in the healthcare profession and you're subjected to a state survey, I thank you, and I'm sorry that it's something that we have to go through. It's not fun. So if they come in, they'll give us some more information about that. And Katie said she'd be right back, so I hate to steal her thunder. So we'll wait just a few more minutes, and we'll go on to our sales update, which Miss Susan is going to come and give us an update on that. Michelle is out, and Evelise is at a marketing function. All right?
She's in an expo.
An expo, marketing expo. That sounds more productive than a function, I guess. All right, sorry.
Good afternoon. We don't have a lot of inventory left. We have one house available that's getting ready to be renovated before we can sell it. We also have 3 apartments available. We have 3 move-ins scheduled for next month into the houses. And ALF is going to be 100% by the end of next month. Okay? We did have a chef event last week. I believe there was 18 people that attended. We have another one coming up next week. I'm not sure how many are going to be attending. We are still receiving RSVPs for that. So that's it.
All right, short and sweet. Yeah. It's good to be full. All right, thank you, Susan. Appreciate it, excellent. All right, next on the hit list, come on up here, John. John's playing the part of Rick. Elysian John, another person who enjoys public speaking. Tell us what's going on from maintenance department.
All right, good afternoon. So last month, July, we had 612 work orders called in. We completed on time, which our on time was within 3 days, 523 of them. We also are running only about 2 weeks behind on our quarterly preventive maintenances. We should be starting in the August book next Monday, is what I'm being told. Me and AJ went over what was left for this week. I had 8 in Terrace Gardens, and then the 4 houses on Lake Hunter. Emilio, your house being one of those. All right. Notice everybody's probably walked through Holland Delay. Notice that the carpet is a little funky, and I know where they're cutting that wall in, which kind of worked out, but that carpet is going to be replaced as soon as we get that renovation done. There's a section there that when they laid it the second time, turned it a quarter. I don't know how that happened, but they turned it, and the pattern don't match up, so we're going to be having that redone a second time.
It happens.
It's on the vendor, not on us, but yeah, they're going to redo all that and make sure that that's all nice and secure, but we're going to wait till after that renovation is complete there in Holland Delay number 7. Right now, we also have the fence going in on Terrace Gardens. Basically, it starts down by the gazebo on the far end, down by 635 Terrace Gardens, and runs all the way up to the maintenance shop. They started putting the board on board yesterday. They tried to get across the retention pond with the tractor, and they noticed it's a little soggy still. So they're slowing them down a little bit. They're having to trek each piece or each bundle of wood across by hand right now. The pool bathrooms are back up and running. I know we had a leak in the slab. One Tom plumber came out and got that repiped for us. Everything should be back to normal. And if anybody has any other questions.
Would that have anything to do with the water backing up by the outdoor shower at Munn Pool?
No, that is actually just in the track itself. We're looking at different solutions to see if we can do that. It's the old corrugated track that's in the ground. It's just deteriorating, and we're looking at options of taking it out and putting new back in. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
John, does the elevator in the lobby at dining
It's under a service contract monthly. Our Delaware elevator was actually out, I believe yesterday. He told me he was out here running around doing the services and checks on everything. But if you do notice anything, give us a call so we can.
Certain amount of bumping and grinding, and it just curious, that's all.
Okay, yeah, I'll make him aware of that. Yes,
If they
ma'am.
come out. Yes, ma'am.
Fix once and for all that main elevator and ALF?
Don't think so. We're still having issues. It's still resetting.
So they replaced the rams, right, the lift mechanisms and the seals, I should say, and for both of those, both the front, the main ALF elevator and the back one. They did the same repair. The elevator continues to, go into alarm or fault or something and shut down, automatically. Then don't mess with this, we're gonna break it. And then, it needs some wood shop attention. So I know Rick, they were scheduled, the Delaware Elevators leadership was scheduled to come out, because it's it's an issue for you all, it's an issue for us, so we have to keep, calling. They ask us not to reset them when they go into fault because they want to come out and find out why. But, sometimes I don't think they understand that, who we have using them, and they need to be operational. We understand that, all these pieces of equipment, can break and do, but it just seems to be a little too frequent, right? So I can tell you, we're leaning on them and trying to, get some sort of solution where they become more reliable.
Neil, I think you were first. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is in their contract to make the repairs as well. Mr. Lex?
What are the plans for the floors in the MacArthur Center?
What do you mean the floors in the MacArthur Center?
Yeah, which floors?
Well, I had heard that there was flooring ordered.
I'm gonna have to come down there and take a look and talk with Allison and everybody. I
haven't been made aware that any issues are. I'll take a look.
All right, so the question was about flooring in MacArthur Center, about it buckling. I haven't witnessed that myself, but that doesn't mean it is not happening, but I'll certainly go down and take a look at it. If it's something we gotta address, we'll figure out a plan for it. I didn't put it on, we're in the process of doing capital and stuff now. It wasn't something that was identified. So it may be just something we fix operationally, depending on how extensive it is. It might just need to be picked up and laid back down. Some of these floating floors in Florida with the humidity, I can tell you I just celebrated my 26th anniversary with my wife. We went to Dunedin to a hotel over there that Marriott renovated. It's like a 100-year-old place called the Fenway, in case anybody's been over there. But same thing, they put down wood floors in this 100-year-old hotel, and they're floating floors. And they're all buckled everywhere you go. So, I mean, it's beautiful, but they're all buckled. So, similar to the dining room when we're going through the renovations, they're going to go, the product that's currently down there is a floated floor. They're going to go to a glue down product. All right. Tell us a little bit about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'll have Josh take a look. But
So there's a question
yeah.
about the dehumidifier and the heat in the vol shop, and there's been a work order put in on it. So it looks like, still need to look at it. It's not resolved evidently.
No, it's not.
Right.
And we do open tomorrow. The second thing about that mall shop is that somebody told me a couple days ago that there were little, well, before it was something. So we went in and wiped it down, and I went in there again 2 days ago. But again, Lisa on Sunday told me that next week is when they come and spray around the community. So is that something that they do in the mall shop too, or is that?
They should be able to bait in there. as
Yeah, we
well.
can, we can have that added to the list for them to do. And they come out every Wednesday, so if there's any issues, just let us know, and we can have them spot treat those on Wednesdays. No, ma'am. Yeah.
For the ant bait, for like sugar ants, which is the most thing because, we all, eat food everywhere and we bait them in. They put, you all have seen it, sort of like a jelly-like substance, and they take that back to wherever they take it and it kills them. So, but we have to tell them to do it. They just don't. Okay. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know where it is in the process of things, but I did turn in a work order for ants in the mall shop.
okay.
I know he had a pretty large list yesterday that he went around with.
A couple of days ago.
Okay.
I haven't been back in there, but I did
Okay,
turn
yep.
in a work order.
Yeah, pest control was out yesterday. I'll double check the list and I'll get back to you, Ms. Hall, and let you know if they went down there.
Well, they're just,
Yeah. All right, so the work order questions is a good segue, and John's going to tell us all about the several ways you can enter a work order into the system so that they get their work orders. How can a resident enter a work order?
You can either call 137 from either company phones or 577-6037 to get a hold of Lisa or myself or Rick, depending on which one of us is answering at the time. Ann usually answers in the afternoon. We can manually put the work orders in. My W Life is also a really good way. Gives us a lot of information and also has a few categories on there where we can select different things, and we see that on a printout that then we transfer over to work orders.
And one more. All right, in case you haven't seen it, or maybe some of you all have received an email, there's a link that you can enter a work order directly for Micromain. Micromain is our work order system. Has anybody received an email from Micromain? Maybe thought it was spam,
I did.
probably deleted it.
Easy to follow.
Right. So, but I will tell you that the email was sort of, Wendy's not here, but was sort of sent out inadvertently, but it does work. So if you click on the link that's in MyWLife, because it says link to Micromain, there's a little window in there. If you look on it, you can enter directly into Micromain. So it's just another route. They're just trying to give people multiple ways to be able to enter work orders. Yes, Saul.
I have another question about work orders, because I've turned in a few. How do I know you got it? How do I know what you're gonna do about it? Until at 8 o'clock one morning, somebody knocks on my door, and it says, please call, please don't enter. But I don't know how to,
How do we do that, John? All right, I'm going to go ahead and answer. I don't want to put John on the spot. But we are working on a resolution of that because that's something that's been identified for a while, right? We call, what's going to happen? When are they going to come fix it, right? Whatever it is, whether it's air conditioner, ants,
or just you received it.
something,
Okay.
right? So if
That doesn't mean they.
if anybody has ordered something off of Amazon or UPS or FedEx, or I think even the post office is doing it nowadays, that they say, hey, your package, first of all, we received your order, right? Amazon and all of them are real good about that. And then when it's coming, they'll say they'll get a little text, right? Your package is out for delivery, right? And then it'll say, you can, depending on what phone you got and all that, you can track your shipment. And you can follow the person in the truck or whatever they're coming in, right to your house, right? So I can't promise that we're going to get something that fancy, but we talk about that, with the system. We put a work order in, there's no acknowledgement for, hey, we received it, it was successful, you put it in the micromain, or you put it into MyWLife, or you called, I guess if you call Lisa, you know it's in. But even then, I know we've gotten questions that, hey, I called Lisa, put a work order in, I called Lisa back, and she said, we don't have the work order. So it's, the system it needs to be improved. I can tell you folks like Wendy who work behind the scenes with MyWLife, understand this, and we're trying to figure out a way to use the technology to provide these answers for everybody. I don't have a solution today, but it's something that we are working on. Yes, sir.
In my life, we have the maintenance request form. Are we talking about the same thing?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We've had some experience where there's a disconnect, filling it out and getting the message.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and right below that, there should be one that says micromain link.
So the process on that, when you do submit that, Mr. Rankin, it goes to my email, Lisa's email, and Rick's email. And between the three of us, one of us has to take that information and manually insert it into the micromain program, which is our work order program. So.
But that's the same one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's right. Yep.
It's easy for me to email Lisa right away.
Yeah, email is a good way too. The only thing also, Mr. Rankin, with that is when it sends us the stuff, it sends us a copy of whatever email you put in, and we're finding that some people don't fill that email back out with. So besides us picking up the phone and manually calling each person that puts in a work order, there's no way to directly respond back to say, hey, we got your request through MyWLife. Yes, ma'am.
Question is, what about people that do not know how to use MyWLife or don't know how computers and all that?
You can phone the request.
Phone call. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Or landline phone, stop and Mandy's always got free time to enter work orders. You see her, call Mandy, call Miss Ann regularly puts in, all kidding aside, Mandy's very busy, but, we put a lot on Mandy. But, she can do it, Miss Ann can enter them directly in, if they need to be done manually, and, we have these things, we have, I meet with residents in different places. I get told about stuff. I go back and typically either text Rick and John. We have a little group chat. I text them all the time. All the time. All right, so don't feel shy about letting us know if there's something going on. All right, I got another question for John before he leaves. He's not off the hook yet. Tell us about our recycling program, here on campus. I got everybody nice little placards that came from the city of Lakeland. They're front and back. We haven't changed the program, but I don't want me to put John on the spot. So the challenge is if we put trash, right, in the recycling cans, they will throw the recycling away, right? They won't go into the recycling bins and take out the inappropriate items, Publix bags, whatever, right? Whatever's inappropriate, they won't do that. We've been putting it in the TGI as well. I know this card is sort of small, but I thought about, blowing it up, laminating them, and putting them on the cans. Recycling is great, but again, the guys, when they come around in the trucks, when they look in there, they're coming by fast, right? And they got the truck that has the arm, and it's going one or two places. It's going in the recycling, the whole can, or it's going in the trash, the whole can. So if they see plastic bags in there or anything, right into the trash. Same thing that happened, I don't know if you remember, we had the general recycling can up in front of the Sixplex, right? As soon as they came by there and they seen a plastic bag in it, which is a trash bag, right into the trash, the whole container, right? And, you know, it's discouraging, but what we don't want is, you know, the city to say, listen, you know, we're just throwing all the stuff in the trash, we're gonna discontinue the recycling program in your community, right? So, you know, please be mindful. Yes, sir.
I've been using what's called recycling bags. That's got it from Amazon. And it is a bag, but it says recycling bag. Do you know of any problem with that?
Is it on the list of allowed items on their little placard there?
It says a recycling bag.
Yeah, I hear you. Right, that's the challenge, exactly what John said. They're not gonna look and go, oh, that's an Amazon recycling bag versus, oh, that's that Publix bag that we can't. As soon as they see the bag, trash. So, I hear you, right? I understand it. You know, maybe if we, you know, like we had the National Night Out and Mayor Mutz was there and the other councilmen, you know, we could say, or council people, I should say, because one was a gal, is that, you know, how do we make changes to that? You know, it's a recyclable bag. Why is that on the prohibited items list? You know, I can't answer that. I'm just, you know, I'm just telling you, if it's not on their list and they see something, they're not spending any time figuring it out, right into the trash. Yes, ma'am. Well, I think Lakeland has its own like recycling, like a bag, right?
Anything that's put in a bag, that's just garbage, is not going to be recycled. It's the bag that holds it.
Right.
It's designed so that you're not throwing you know, white bag that does not dissolve. Then you can safely put that in the bag and the trash into the trash.
Right. So they're talking about, you know, there's a couple different things. There's bags that, you know, are recyclable. There's a bag that the Lakeland distributes that's a recycling bag or recyclable bag. And, you know, whether or not the recyclable bag is on the list of, you know, allowed items for the Lakeland recycling system or not is the, you know, right. Right.
It's full of garbage.
Sure. I understand. But I think that's one of the challenges is that folks take this recyclable bag and they put it in the recycling, and then the driver sees the bag in there and says, that's not on the list, right? So, you know, we're trying to do the right thing for the right reasons, and, you know, this is just, you know, part of the learning, you know, process. It's nice that you got the cans. And you know, we'll just, you know, if we don't talk about it, we won't find what the resolution is, right? So, thank you for trying to recycle, but keep the bags out of the recycling container, right? You can put the recycled bags in the trash, and when they hit the landfill, they'll do their business and recycle themselves there faster, right? Okay. What else you got, John?
That's all I got, Doug.
All right, it's all for John. All right,
Y'all
thank
have a
you,
wonderful
John.
day.
We're gonna go. All right, we went over service requests, recycling. I want to talk real quick. Brad mentioned it about the dining room renovation. You know, that's upcoming. We're working through, you know, sort of the behind the scenes part of that, getting everything, you know, funded through the foundation, which is awesome. You know, they're also going to do our guest rooms for us, right? Mandy, you know, again, in all her spare time, she just threw this together real fast. So, you know, if it's a little sloppy, I apologize, you know, for it. No, she did a great job. You know, what we're trying to fix a little bit, you know, with the other display is that the trim colors were the larger represented color swatches on the concept board. The darker colors, similar in here, like the darker grays, they're just accent colors that are going to be put up in the countersunk lighting areas. They're meant to be sort of accent pieces because, for the most part, it's going to be very light in there. You're going to have very light paint. You're going to have lighter carpet. Right now we have very dark green carpet, right? So it's going to be lighter. Mandy put together these handouts for you that sort of exemplifies what is going to happen. I did send, I sent at least Miss Linda, a floor plan, and it has where the vinyl planking is going to go, which is, it's going to be more extensive in the dining room according to the plan, right? I like to say according to the plan because, you know, I haven't signed off on it, and you know, it's still a little bit in the works and things can change. But what's currently going to happen is that you'll come out of the lobby area into the dining room, and when you first come in, there's going to be a section of vinyl flooring there before you transition into the carpeted area. And that vinyl flooring area is going to go around the outside of the inside of the dining room, if that makes sense. Because not the patio area, right, which would be the outside edge of the dining room, but the inside area, right? That makes sense to everybody? And then inside of that will be carpeted. Well, anybody here in the construction business? I know, we got a few of you. Well, things aren't square and things aren't flat, right? So when you run this, you know, vinyl planking for, you know, hundreds of feet, you know, you'll see your floors are, and that sort of disappears when you use carpeting, right? And that's why. Plus, if you have a giant space with all that vinyl or wood flooring or tile, it sounds like you're in a tin can, right? It's very loud, things echo, so the carpet's there to knock down the noise, right? Yes, ma'am.
What are you going to do with the chairs currently in there?
Replace them. That's in this.
No, I know that, but what are you going to do with them?
Oh, when we after we replace them?
The reason I'm asking, Ball Shop Bend House spent $31,000 6 years ago to have the wood on all of those chairs redone. So I was just curious if there were any plans to sell them or use them somewhere, or just, are they all going to be used?
If we can find, the question is, what are we going to do with the old chairs and, you know, that may or may not be serviceable, the old tables and equipment that's going to be replaced by the new stuff. You know, I would say that, you know, first of all, if we can find an avenue to sell it, right, and to recoup those funds, whether we use them for another resident activity or front-facing sort of, you know, thing, you know, there's always stuff to fix and replace, right? On campus, we could use it for that. If not, maybe they can be donated and have some sort of, you know, write-off or something available to us, you know, that they go somewhere else, you know, in need. You know, Lord knows there's a lot of charities and stuff that, you know, need help. So if we could find, you know, or identify something like that, we can do it. It's, you know, this particular project, right, went from being sort of an operational capital expense project to a foundation thing. So they're casting a little bit wider net about what to replace.
I think it's wonderful what
Right.
you're doing. I just didn't know if you were aware that 6 years ago, we spent $31,000 to have the wood replaced.
Yeah.
They never did the fabric, but all of the wood
Yeah.
was handled.
And that's the portion, the wood, I can see that when they redid the, darn, it's gonna get me yet. The, good thing I didn't lean on it. When they redid the ALF and the health center, they bought a bunch of couches and chairs, and what goes on them, and you know, it's something, you know, us as people with our oil in our skin, as you rest it on the chairs and the wood, it deteriorates the finish. Whatever polyurethane or whatever's on it, everybody's seen it, right? We've sure all had it happen in our homes and whatnot. But that's the part that they probably refinished. There's a lot of chairs in there. These chairs are what they call 500-pound chairs. They're very sturdy chairs. There's only going to be 2 casters on the new chairs in the front, not 4, only 2. And they're going to rotate. If you look at your pamphlet or your handouts or up here, they're going to rotate the chairs with different colors. But they got 3 different color backs between the beigeish, the bluish, and the burgundyish. Similar to the chairs that are out front now that I think are a green, a burgundy, and maybe a blue. I have in my office, but it's sort of it's different colors, but there's a pattern to it, right? That makes sense? Pardon me? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Neil, I didn't hear you. What did you say? Neil says if you want to get rid of the furniture, at the bid house, we'll sell it, lickety-split. No problem. Yes, ma'am.
Are the new chairs as heavy as the chairs during the now?
I'm going to say yes. They're very heavy chairs because they're built for, the question was, are the new chairs as heavy as the old ones? For the most part, these chairs are commercial duty chairs. I call them 500-pound chairs.
There's going to be 2 casters on them.
Just on the front. Yes, ma'am. It shows on the little drawing there, I think, that there's 2 casters. Yeah. It's pretty small. But no, it doesn't show the casters on this one. All right. Any other questions about the dining room? People keep asking me about when is it going to happen. Again, we're working on getting the initial draw set up for the construction companies so they can order the carpet. They're telling us that it's about a 3-month lead time to get the carpet here. Similar to our project that went on here with the sound system. Most of our suppliers just don't have this equipment and materials just sitting on the shelf anymore. We don't really live in that world anymore. Yes, sir.
The plan because of work schedule, and what is the work schedule plan?
Well, that sort of just alluded to as far as a time frame. They.
I'm talking about daily, weekly.
I hear you. Let me
How far away?
I'll get there, Stan. So, all right, we're looking at least 3 months, and we've talked about this with resident council, that, if that were to happen, it would put us right around the holiday time. So we're not going to let that happen because we'd be having our meals in here, and it'd be disruptive to all the other stuff that's supposed to be going on in here during that time, right? Work schedule-wise, they were telling us that, well, we can work at night and, leave it operational during the day. I think, there's a lot that would have to happen to make that happen. Additionally, I don't think, because again, I wasn't here the day that they came out, I don't think they're aware that we have residents that live upstairs, right? And unless you're working on styrofoam or something, I don't know, it's probably going to be some banging involved and, saws, sawing and hammers hammering. It's probably going to be loud. I'm sure anybody that lives anywhere close to Helen DeLay has heard the construction going on in Unit 7. All right, so it's loud. Now, you guys probably hear it up there in Nora Rife a little bit. No? All right. But, so we're going to have to discuss that, right? So I'm realistically looking at after the new year, and then when they do start, working, we're going to have to coordinate that a little bit. I mean, maybe they can work at night if it only involves maybe tearing up carpet. Maybe they can work at night if they're painting. And they're doing that, roller painting. It doesn't involve air compressors and, loud equipment. We'll have to see.
Not a lot of heavy construction being done anyway.
No, paint, flooring, right? So
So I think 90% of it's going to be very ineffective.
right.
There's noise.
it all depends on each individual, how sensitive you are to noise, and,
Concrete floor.
yeah, I hear you. I want to talk about it now, because if we don't talk about it now, then when, January or whatever gets here and they start making noise, they'll say, wait a minute, you didn't tell us, right? And most of the folks, some of yourselves that live up there, are very amicable, and we get along with everybody. So I don't see it being an issue. We just, I want to talk about it, before it is. A couple other items here on the hit list. I know we're running right at time. We didn't mention it. John forgot. I'm sorry. On Friday, the A parking lot is going to be closed. It's really not John's fault, but we'll blame him anyway. On Friday, the A parking lot will be closed because we are trimming that big oak tree that's right in the middle of the parking lot, right? So that's part of storm prep. All right, leads me to a couple other things here. Every year they trim trees, they clean gutters, they clean out drains. We've been doing some hardening there behind MacArthur to try to make the water flow away from the buildings. Right, we got some sandbags that are going to have to be acquired for certain residences, in case you listen on YouTube, right? All that stuff, we acknowledge, and we're going to have to continue to do until we can find out an alternate, plan. We know by A building here, coming around the corner to B building where the ramp is, that water collects there. It drains in that area down that ramp, right? And then it builds up on the ground floor. We have to figure out some sort of drainage system that'll ultimately pull that water away from there. And, we don't have it yet, right? This is something we adopted, and we're going to have to figure it out, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Right? Okay. If you were here, I think about a month ago now, we had a really bad rainstorm, and the water was coming down in sheets, right? Down Crescent, right? It's just, it comes down, it goes over the sidewalks up into the grass, and it just keeps on coming downhill, right? So, we're working on trying to, how can we push the water back out into the street, or at least it can make its way to the lake before it floods, one of your houses, right? So we continue to look at that. Couple other things here, again, with storm prep. I know we put it out in the TGI. Please, check your insurance, right? In case, there's any sort of incidents, God forbid, like last year with Milton, we had the wind come up through here, and we had some roofs that got damaged. If anything gets damaged inside your home, we want you to be covered, right? So check your renter's insurance, or consider renter's insurance if you don't already have it. From what I understand, it's very inexpensive. I haven't had it for a number of years personally, but when we did have it, it's pretty darn cheap, all right? We talked about Sunday brunch. We talked about the health center. We talked in October, I think we put out a notice. Hank Keith will come and occupy all my time here at this chat. Actually, occupy all your time, right? He's going to come and give a status of the strategic plan, the master plan. I don't know what that means. I haven't had a sit down with Hank yet. So I don't know what's on the agenda for that, other than he'll need the whole hour, right? So what we may do is have him talk, and then if there's a time afterwards, it doesn't go too long, if there's any questions, we'll get up and answer those questions. So I don't know what's on his agenda. Yes, sir.
Doug, what's the status on the guest rooms? I know it's on the list with respect to.
So direct supply design, the question was, what's the status on the guest rooms? Direct supply design, the same design firm that is doing the dining room, has the measurements, and they're working up a concept, and then they're reporting back to us. So it's actively in the works. It's, I don't have a time frame on it, but other than say we're working on it. Yeah. Yes, sir.
One time you talked about taking one of the guest rooms, turning it into a bistro.
So part of this renovation, the guest room renovation, it only includes guest rooms B and C. So what we end up doing with that guest room A, we got to figure it out. right? So one of the options, I have a little bit of a vision to turn that into a bistro or market, ice cream shop, I like donuts, donut shop. Now you can tell. But it's you know, the Westminster standard is to have 2 guest rooms. So that's what they're going to renovate. And then we got to figure out what to do with guest room A, whether we make it, you know, an alternate dining venue, you know, whatever. I just think it sort of lends itself, you know, being right adjacent to this patio. We could get bigger shade sails out there, make the area maybe a little more all-weather, you know, friendly, maybe some fans and stuff. But that's where we're at with that. So a couple of things with storms. I've had recently some requests or some inquiries about generators, right? Because people remember, you know, that during these storms, you know, we sometimes have power outages, right? Can I get a whole house generator? The answer is yes, right? You can. We just it has to be approved prior to you getting it. And what does that mean? We have to know who the vendor is. We have to make sure that there's permits and licensing for it, that there's appropriate transfer switches and all that. So it's safe for you, your neighbors, and any electrician or power line guy that might be working downstream, you know, and now we've introduced an energized line. So what we don't want you doing is just, you know, firing up the old, you know, Honda generator in the garage, plugging it into an outlet, and hoping for the best, right? Because inevitably Mark or John or one of the guys will be coming by and they'll get themselves shocked, right? So, you know, don't do that. If any type of generator, you know, please talk to us about it, and, you know, we'll go through the process. If you want a whole house generator, it's something that you can do, but it has to be done appropriately, all right? Generators talk about recycling, talked about the parking lot. Oh, here's a big one. And again, Mandy in her spare time came up with a very catchy thing, right? Those of you with pets, right? Please, you know, do a public service and clean up after your pet. What would you say? You know what it is? I'm gonna put her on the spot. She definitely doesn't like public speaking. Yeah, if you have a dog, whatever, cat, if you just happen to be one of those special folks that can walk your cat and they do their business. There's a lady that walks around the lake with her cat, never on a leash, but she follows right behind her. The dog's on a leash and the cat isn't. So I don't know. Anybody ever seen that? Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. But in any event, if you have a pet, clean up after your pet. Thank you. That's all I have. Any questions? No? Anybody else? Yeah, anything. Any questions about anything?
What's happening with the rooms at MacArthur Center that used to be offices and have been empty for a year or so?
What's happening with those? That's a good question. You know, we had talked in the past. The question was, you know, what's going on with the rooms in MacArthur Center that used to be offices? There's been a number of discussions about having the Curana Clinic out there. There's been discussions about, you know, some of our CSS support team have offices here on campus, actually located right down the little breezeway here, about moving them out there, and then us using these offices here for something else. We don't have a 100%, you know, clear plan. We've talked about when we were doing our walkabouts as part of the budget process about blowing that wall out when you first walk into the main part of MacArthur where there's puzzles currently stacked, about knocking that wall out and making that all one big room and having more multi-use, you know, rooms in that. I mean, MacArthur's pretty big, but even, you know, making it bigger. Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that the bookcases are gone.
The bookcases in Highland Delay?
Yes.
The bookcases in Highland Delay are going to do the construction and painting. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, they'll come back.
They're going to go somewhere. Yeah. Right. Yes, ma'am.
What about are you going to replace the?
Palm tree?
No, yeah.
Chairs,
The settees.
So some of you The question was, are we gonna place the chairs out here on the patio you're talking about?
No, not on the patio, out, just right out here on this side of it. No, right out here on this side of the chapel. Yeah.
It's a slider, right? The slider chairs. What do we do with them? Were they?
They were rusted out.
Oh. So sort of on a similar thread, I didn't know we had taken them away, but I know we had the one slider on the patio that was decrepit and it went away. But I've been talking with, they're not in here, some folks from the ball shop, Bid House, you know, about allocating some funds to get some polywood chairs and with, you know, umbrellas and that. If anybody's ever bought that stuff, it is a little pricey, but it's super heavy, it's weather resistant, you can pressure wash it, and it looks like brand new, instead of like the wrought iron furniture, which is also very durable, but it looks tired, right? So I didn't know we'd gotten rid of those. Yes, ma'am.
Do our employees have insurance?
Do our employees have insurance? You're talking about health insurance?
Health insurance.
Yes, ma'am. So, I mean, the health insurance is available. Yeah, it's a, yes. It's an option, right. It means, there's an employee portion of it that, you know, employees are responsible for. It's not 100%, you know, paid by you. There's a profit, the question was, I was gonna repeat the question if I'm trying to get in a good habit for the folks on YouTube out there, that the question was, is there any type of retirement package or profit sharing or anything like that available to our employees? The answer is yes, if they choose to participate. So that's, you know, all this is introduced to them, you know, through the onboarding process. Some people, you know, choose to participate in those plans, including health insurance. Some choose to go to the marketplace. Some choose, you know, not to have anything. I myself don't participate. I'm a disabled veteran and I go to the VA, right? Some people have their spouses or significant others that they utilize, you know, their plans. Yes. As far as malpractice and stuff, you know, our nurses, right, are not private practitioners. They don't have malpractice insurance. I think in the form that you're thinking about. Well, we have general liability coverage, and if somebody, you know, were to sue somebody for some sort of, you know, clinical related negligence, they would be represented by a Westminster appointed legal team, and there's an arbitration clause in the admissions package. Every admission requires a admission packet that goes in there with it, and the arbitration clause is part of that. Any other questions? Pardon me? Susan is still here. She, in case anybody doesn't. Yeah, I was just saying, just two minds. Susan, in case anybody isn't aware, stand up, Susan, so people can see you. We'll get right back to you there. You know, Susan was voted as the sales assistant of the year for all of Westminster. How about that? Oh. Anything you like to say? No? All right. Thank you, Susan. Good job. Our employee of the quarter is Leanne Harwell, who's our central supply clerk in the health center, in case you see Miss Leanne around. Yes, ma'am.
Are we allowed to know how Samantha is doing?
Well, I can tell you she continues to progress, right? I can't give you, you know, specifics, right? It wouldn't be appropriate for me to do that about you to anybody right here or the other way around. But I can tell you that she continues to progress. We, you know, are all praying, you know, for her recovery. We're trying to give her as much time as possible to do that, you know, and That's all I can really say about it, right? But, you know, I think everybody knows she is out of the hospital, right? She continues to do rehab, right, and get better. You know, will she ultimately be able to, you know, come back and fill the role that she was in before? I can't answer that right now, right? Yes, ma'am. Yes, please. Yep, we still get cards to her. You know, all your prayers and well wishes and you know, all that good thoughts, you know, are, you know, it's powerful for her. She's a very, you know, spiritual person, but she's very private as well, right? So, you know, but we can get, you know, cards, you know, to her, absolutely, 100%. All right. Oh, one more.
Can we get a COVID update?
COVID. Well, Katie was going to do that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So, as you probably have seen in the multiple emails, there's COVID on campus, right? We have approximately, as I haven't got an update today, but as of close of business yesterday, we had 5 staff and 3 residents. One of the staff members who's returned. So 4 and 3, right? So, you know, the process is typically you stay out 5 days. If you're asymptomatic, you can return to work, right? You'll still test positive for COVID for months and months and months, right? So if Katie was here, she would tell everybody, there you go, you can beat me to it. What's the best way to prevent it? Wash your hands, right? Around campus, we have the hand sanitizers, right? They're touchless. Sanitize your hands. I put a little bit on my face. You know, well, you know, what do? We do this all day, right? We walk around, we cough, and then we touch our face. So I put a little extra ounce of prevention. Don't get in your eye. It won't help your vision at all. So it is around. Be careful out there. I mean, right? People go to the grocery store and, you know, the movie theaters and stuff. You know, just be careful, right? And but what I hear, it's very anecdotal, you know, but that the current strain isn't as harsh. The symptoms aren't as bad as previous strains, but that's, I think, everybody's health, you know, situation determines that. If you have a lot of respiratory issues, COPD or something, and you get COVID, you'll probably have a little bit harder time of it than somebody else, right? But yeah, COVID's still out there. Any other questions? I think I got everything on my list. Remember about the doggy do. What was the little saying? Make the community. She's gonna look it up. She's got it. Anybody read the scoop? Yeah. What did it say? It's right on the top. They're pulling up technology. Wait for it. They're looking. All right, they're getting restless back there. They're looking, nobody. They're looking, still. You guys are looking, right? I think they're on TikTok. All right, well, anyway, she made a catchy little thing about it. You know, the point of it, you know, if you have a dog or whatever, you know, pick up after your animal. Remember, we do live on a lake. In the lake, there are alligators, right? Be careful. Not too many of us have little kids, but I always worry about the you know, young parents that I see out there with their little kids and they're sitting around. Alligators are faster than you think. Yes, you found it?
Scoop the poop and keep our grounds awesome.
Awesome. Scoop the poop and keep our grounds possum. There you go. That's Mandy. That's, you know, you figured that out. All right. Well, thank you. Have a good day. Be safe.